Welcome everybody to Mudflood was Armageddon. The Mudflood was the Armageddon. Don't let them tell you anything else unless they are willing to debate you in a fair and honest, no backstabbing ways, no beating you up, no bullying you in the comment sections or anything else. I'm stalling, waiting. Where are you, RJ? We got to make history today. Uh, anyway, this whole thing of the Gentiles, the time of the Gentiles, did it start at way before when they're saying, the future rapture, then it happened after the parentheses, whatever that dispensationalist baloney is? Well, those days are over. The reason I was at the university, the Lord has led every step of the way here, is we're ready to do it again, Made uh the stones cried out to flat earth nation, golden age past. That's what brought me to that conclusion, was all the study of the vortex, Schauberger, structured water. Anyway, it led me to the rocks are body parts reserved in judgment. That's why the rocks could have cried out, and why John the Baptist said, God could raise up descendants of Abraham from these stones. We are made from the dust of the Elohims that were created in the image of God in Genesis 1. Adam was second chapter of Genesis, and that's when we were created, formed from the dust. There's RJ. As soon as he pops, he's in the studio. He's just not set down and plugged in yet. RJ, man, there you are. How you doing, brother? We got.
Good morning. I just got your text that you sent.
No way. You can see it. Or at least I sent it 40 minutes. I was ready to make history, man.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like I wasn't doing anything. I was in the process of wrapping a package to be mailed.
Oh, that's on my to-do list also.
It's a work in progress.
Anyway, there's a few people here, so I want to get going. You'll just catch right up, I know.
Yep.
I got a beard hair or something on my cup. I want you to think it's the end of the world and where you want to be at that time. I want you to be with me where only the light of God Most High that I've described to you in the past will be able to find us. I want you to be with me where only the light that I've described to you in the past will be able to find us. Let us find a quiet place to be purified by the fire of cleansing fire, refined and made ready to worship in fellowship as a family of God, adopted for a perfect eternity of unsurpassed beauty of perfection. I wrote that 6 minutes ago before I went and made a cup of coffee. Figured, I'd be talking to you. Gone over in the past many times about how I think.
Coffee's empty.
My copy is not.
I'm an hour ahead of you.
Can you see any steam on that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Talked in the past about how Nebuchadnezzar and that whole situation was the time of the Gentiles. And whether, the Zoroastrians definitely knew that there was one Most High God, the leader of that country had declared it's the Hebrew God, and anybody wants to argue, they had to go to his house, set up an appointment, and want to see the king of Babylon and tell him he's wrong. You know, there's not a long line for that.
Yeah, as far as the descriptive scenario where Egypt and Assyria, as well as Israel, you know, equal third, you know, all worshiping
Talking about Isaiah 19?
the Creator God together.
Yeah, Isaiah 19. Here,
That
look at
sounds
these are all separate.
good.
I'm gonna name them all.
Right.
I know people think that I just sit around and do YouTube videos after I, you know, like what other people do. They watch my videos and they have enough topics to make a ton of money on. Whereas since September 1st, I've digested all of these are all handouts and writings that confirm my position in a class that God sent me to the university to, because, you know, I don't like these normal universities and I don't agree with them. And they all know that. They know I'm Salt Paco, the artist. They know I'm Alan Paco, the YouTube guy, and that I believe that they all know my theology as good as the people on the show, because that's while I'm studying this with them, cooking my own food, doing my own laundry, and my art projects, I'm studying these papers, and here's what we've got. Nothing but confirmation. The Lord has got me and you on everybody else here on the right track. We're absolutely right. Excerpts from the Reform Edicts of the Tayaka. You ever heard of it?
Maybe not.
Japan. The Diabu. They govern the people. Well, you've seen them. They got the tattoos on their lips in Japan. Here's their list. Here's their list of rules, and they all involve, you know, different things. You know, different rules for women and men who go to war. How to be nice. The large rat. It's from China, and all of these are, you know, mysteriously dated and somewhat lumped together around that 500 BCE, Second Temple era. Nebuchadnezzar's tearing everything down, then later on he builds it back up. Well, China's in on it too. And here's their large rat, which is one of their, and this isn't apocryphal stuff. These are the things that these kings wrote on the side of the mountains. Yeah, some of them may have exaggerated, like, you know, and I wear a size 15 shoe, you know, or something like that. But most, you know, they've got to track with the other what they've carved on the mountains. We're not reading apocryphal books. This isn't like people telling me I should read Jubilees. So here it's the same thing. How do we serve God? How do we run our governments? We got Japan, China. Oh my goodness. What's with some of these? That professor, where did you get him? Copy it from something we can read. Where are my glasses? Here's an unknown one, but I think it's Leviticus. If I don't mention Leviticus in these other papers, we also studied the laws of Leviticus, the sections from the Code of Hammurabi. These are all contemporaneous things around that era. To do October 4th. So I'm writing a paper on this also. I'll read it because
maybe a week from tomorrow.
So a week from tomorrow? Oh shit!
Next month. Next month. Don't
I
worry
thought I had
about
more
it.
time. So
Don't
anyway,
worry about it.
Japanese, the Kame, Aver, Merobi, and the Tano. They had it's Japan, another Japan, because they had a different god, and here's how they were going to serve him. All the rules. I didn't have to get
it. It is a him god. It's not a goddess.
Not yet. The laws of Mano. Another one. We're rebuilding. We've got all these laws. You know, here's your forbidden food. Here's your unforbidden food. everything. Eunuchs, harems. There's a lot of different things like the Bible, the hymn of the Nile. It talks about how come they worshiped the Egyptians and why the pharaohs got so much power from it. Leading me to the last one, which is the penultimate one. It was Confucius, and all of that is the same thing in the same era. If you add 1,000 years, if they added 1,000 years, the Confucius and the Buddha would fit right in there with all of their Dharma. And don't undersell it, RJ. Dharma is a big deal to them. It was another way to just, you reap what you sow, providence. So we had Confucius, the Buddha, the Dharma, leading to the final one that I studied today, Herodotus' history of the Persian Wars. I am going to need my glasses. But anyway, suffice it to say, I had to make an argument for Megabytes. So when I searched, I just searched, here we go. We're going cold, RJ. We got about another half hour, 40 minutes I can do.
I don't know what I missed.
Nothing.
You need any reason to flash your disclaimer?
Oh, okay. No, I don't think I'm going to show any videos.
Okay.
So we got to look at these otangs. They're part of this same deal. I wanted to look at Megabus. So he didn't pop up. Who is he anyway? We'll just search for him. And then we know that Darius will pop up. That same era, of the Darius, Nebuchadnezzar's, like things are happening. They're reworking all the temples. Yeah. He worked with Xerxes.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Did not know that. But it's going to tie right in. They're saying this historian, that isn't that rich that Wikipedia would say that. Here's a historian who they don't think is especially reliable. Well, Wikipedia, there's people that hate your Wikipedian guts. I'm not one of them. I'm supposed to love. Let's see. So Artaxerxes is into it also. These are Bible people, man. So
yep, real characters. Yeah,
they are real characters. And the oath, and they were arguing together. Ontanes. Well, let's just call this guy Mega instead of this Mega. Mega, Darius, and Otanes. They were communicating with each other, going like, "Look," and I'm putting them out there, RJ, as the Medes, the Babylonians, and the Persians. I've spoken in the Bible. We're putting it at that. I'm going to put it at that time and say that's the time the Gentiles started, ending when hopefully Paul and John were still alive with, watching out for, the blessed among women, Mary, the
yeah, as far as culminating, I don't believe that times, I think we're still in biblical times yet.
Yeah. Well, everything will always be biblical times. Hola, Big James Brady. What's up?
Yeah, thanks for the well wishes. Yeah, back at you.
We're busier than long-tailed cats in a room full of rocking chairs. So we do have that going. And I think that's a big deal. And I know that, the last time I'm there, like, look, I'm making history today. It was a day, it was around the time you came out to visit me in Colorado. And on one weekend, I broke that, the 1900 Census Review, which was like 180 pages, said, we can make no sense of the 1800 censuses. They're saying that in 1830, there were more universities than we have college students today. And I thought people would be really into of how messed up the past censuses were for the United States. I
Well,
thought
yeah, but there was some turmoil there. I mean, fires destroying, the records,
all of them, found out that the first
which
computer
isn't
guy,
suspicious. I mean, shit happens,
yeah, people accidentally poured the water on a fire for 4 days, and then realized, oh crap, did we flood the wrong floor? Dang it! And the fire was out. Why didn't you tell us? And
Yeah,
Wikipedia is calling people out
whatever.
for being bad historians.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We got to go. It's all gonna. I just loved everything about it. But and so also that same weekend was the weekend of the guy from the History Channel, the history guy that wears the
Yeah,
bow tie.
yeah,
He
yeah.
he put out that video about the. Did you know our great government planned and executed the change of the railroad track, and they did it in only 30 hours, and nobody noticed it. Businesses kept running, and kind of like when they jacked up all the buildings when we were, we showed all
Yeah,
those years ago.
it's some serious logistics of getting her done, and yeah.
Right. So I figured I'm not going to get my hopes up that I made history and a bunch of people are going to pop in and do it, but we will continue with this. And this will be this whole deal of like, even though I've renounced my vow to the Constitution, I still get my military benefits. So I'm going to use them, and I'm getting paid to live here and write a book. So I'm going to do it. And it's going to be about what I believe. And I believe that everything we've been teaching about the mud flood is absolutely correct and collaborated. And now, RJ, I've already shown, nephorensics. The art that I do speaks for itself. The newest and only systematic theology that's been presented in the last 700 years that hasn't been by a Jesuit or a Freemason has been through God's will presented by Do Re Mi. And I love him for that. And this guy Ontens, I never heard about him. I only knew about Darius because he's in the Bible. But now, I mean, I've heard of Hammurabi and Confucius and Buddha. I mean, we've all heard of those guys, right?
Well,
But here, when I talk about it's not apocryphal, it's these type of things. Darius carved this on a hill in such a place that it's almost impossible to get to, so that nobody would ever be able to really get up there and deface it, because they used to deface these things all over the place. And I don't know if he captured Otenes and then let him go, but I'm sure that he was one of the big three. Their laws had to agree. The Medes, the Babylonians, and the Persians, according to the Bible, so it's true, their laws had to agree. Man, that's crazy, isn't it? So maybe I have a
yeah.
far distant picture to show you. There it is. See, that's hard to get to go up there and say, like, go destroy that. So he's not bragging anymore.
But if you're in the area, it'd be difficult to ignore.
It might make you want to go up there and say, I'm going to go see if I can read it. Wait, it's in a couple different languages to make sure that. Anyway, these guys, man, he caught them all. This is the guy the Bible backed. I think that's probably good way to write. They say that the stones are crying out in a number of different ways. I mean, I'll bet you some of his prisoners got a Phrygian cap. You got the cone head, the gnome head. You got them all bound like prisoners, man, in the Bible. I mean, The Bible is what's true. Carve this rock out, smooth it out, no problem. We know what we're dealing with now. They faked the total history. And you've watched me track it. You've watched me track all this. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's taken longer than we expected, a lot longer and a lot harder than. Oh, what are you doing carved on there, little man? What are you doing? Was this another one? Oh, I guess there's a number of these things, RJ.
Right.
So these guys.
Well, they seem to have been ambitious that way. As far as evidence of their ambition. Yeah.
So he was a Persian nobleman. He must have been one of the people that worked, like Daniel or Belshazzar, as he would have been known to them. He was a nobleman, being among the few with highest rank in the kingdom, who was also a political philosopher. I just read some of his in class the other day. As a matter of fact, I defeated his argument with help from this other Darren. He's this huge black football player who happens to be a genius. He broke his arm or something. He can't play any more football this year.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty bummed. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, at least it's just a
He's pretty
temporary disability, but yeah, it's going to
So
slow you down for a while.
Here's, I guess, what they think they look like. Yikes! It's like looking in a mirror. What's all that? Is that a date up there?
Not certain.
So I'm going to read Darius's argument. I'm going to see if I can find the glasses. Oh, I'm so sorry to be unprepared on this historic day, but it's not like I haven't made that mural, prepared the other one, and I'm just making excuses, but I don't care. I don't have to explain myself, man. Dang it. Don't know where my glasses are. Anyway, so the guy, Otanes, he wanted the parliament. He likes the king. He wants a king to be in charge, that kind of thing. The other guy, Mega wants there to be kind of like a Senate, like the Romans, to where they just put their guys in charge because they go, and the other guy wants democracy. So there's those are your choices. Democracy, which the other people say is mob rule. And so they counter that argument. And then
without the republic form of democracy.
Okay, and RJ, the context of all of this big meeting of these big three is we're redoing the laws for the whole world. What are we going to choose?
How society as individuals will be
the world
represented collectively?
No. How they're going to let them worship their own gods, but Artaxerxes got 124 provinces and he wants his money.
Yeah,
that's still happening.
Taxes.
That's still Bible. That's still in the Bible. That's how things worked, man. That's like King David, in his wisdom and time. The God put him in the point of his mind. He said, like, people are coming to me I don't even know and throwing money at me. They bow down and they worship me, and I go, thanks. He's busy that day. People were throwing money at him. That's just the way it was. And we got we were right.
So
We've been
not
right
that
all along. We were
not that throwing money
no one
was a
should have
bribe,
doubted.
but it was more like a tip.
How have we been wrong? It's like no wonder no one has wanted to debate us these last 8.5 years where we've said, let's debate. Nobody wants to debate. You know why? We've been right about everything all along. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's being forced to take the position of a losing, proposition.
Right. It rings true. Everything rings true. Oh, Jesus wasn't a liar. He did come back in that generation. Hit the brakes. Now this maniac wants women to wear head coverings and not believe in the Trinity. I'm out. Well, they should come back because we've been right about it all. And the Lord is blessed, blessed, blessed. Even though the gangrene and the broken calcaneal heel, I've been on a lot of pain. Even the degloving of my finger was no picnic.
Yeah, to be
But
slowed
have not
down
all of my
physically.
prayers not all of my prayers been answered? Am I not exactly where I said, God, find the place where you want me in the end? And it's right where I was, San Juan Mountains in this area of deserted Colorado, the western slope.
Yeah,
am I not here? Am I not living?
Yeah, you're about as far south. You're what 40 miles from New Mexico or so.
Yeah. Well, probably about 56 miles.
Okay.
But once you get to New Mexico, it happens fast, man. I could be in Taos in an hour and 50 minutes.
Yeah. I've looked it up on the map, so I was going by what the scale of that,
Matter of fact, I've stayed with Noah Church. We both stayed for 2 nights in the pyramid in Taos. That's the guy that developed the Earth Homes built it, and it's just open. So we slept in it. We camped there, man. We partied. And it was cool. We knew the guy who
when in Rome, you do as the Romans do.
Well, the guy that we had stayed the night before, we had camped out with the guy whose house is right next to it. He has one of the Earth Homes, and he's been on the TV on a fashion show challenge. He designs jewelry. Him and his wife, they almost won. But anyway, they had a anyway, they're cool. He does memes now on YouTube.
They have talent. Yeah.
Super talented. Yeah. It's that one where Noah Church made fun of me because we were walking around witnessing and doing our thing and stuff like that. And that man's daughter asked me, I think she was about 7. She goes like, "What'd you look like when you were young?" And I go, "I looked like a movie star." And she goes, "You can't say that." And I go like, "Oh, it just popped in my head. That's what people told me." And things like that. And that's like when I read our argument, they said everybody had to give an argument for 1 minute each group. We had been broken up into groups of 6. And so I figured these guys, I know them, they can't talk. And so I wrote down something. I go, I'll write it. And they go, okay. And I read it, and at the end, they just went, "Wow, that was really good." And I go, "That's what I do." And that's the thing is that I'm trying. And believe me, that's as humble as I can get. Because,
well, to your remark, you looked like some sort of Hollywood actor. Well, the thing with casting characters, that is as important as for finding an individual, male, female, for the character that they're going to portray in a movie, whatever. That's fairly important. Just finding whatever the look that should be in someone's mind, and then the viewer.
And I definitely know I've developed a look, and I know who I am. and I know who I am they know who I am on campus. They can see me coming. But I don't care. That's who I am. And they know
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
And after it's been like well over a year and a half now, they know that I don't just dress up to go to class and then come home and print. I'm freaking working. And that's the thing that the Lord can, can anybody look at my past. There's no skeletons or any of that bullshit. There's nothing but, you know how I made my million that I gave back to the Lord when the rich man, when I gave it all back and said, I'll do anything. It was because I worked my ass off to retire at age 54. And I'm still working my ass off every day. I don't wake up and think, oh, I'm going to watch videos all day. You don't think I want to watch videos and play chess all day? I do. But that's not my job. That's not my job. And nobody retires in this life.
My interests are slightly more physical. Yeah.
So anyway,
An
that is the breaking history. I've got them, man. I've got all of the proof, and I'm going to write the paper, which is only going to be an introduction and tie in. I haven't even touched on the biggest proofs of it being in Esther and their connection of bringing how Daniel brought it to, the Nebuchadnezzar and Esther and all of that. They saved his life. Haman was in charge, and it took Mordecai to notify him there's an assassination plot. And so that's why Mordecai and Esther got in the picture. For a little background. The other guy, I don't know much about the Medes except their calendar was good enough and they cared enough to go tell Herod, hey, Jesus is time for him to be born. Where is he? And he went, I was busy making money pretending to be a god. Who is this Jesus? So we got him.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, Ella. But I kind of got to get going. It's a flat. You got anything you want to add, brother? Oh, I'm going to show.
Just stay safe, stay informed.
I want to show a couple of pictures. So as long as I took them. Trinity Bridge. We'll look at that tonight. Trinity Bridge. It's a bridge over nowhere, RJ. So anyway, the Mercer's Hall opened.
Do you want to be sharing or what? I'm not certain what.
In my mind, I'm sharing it like a bandit.
I can only imagine it. Yeah.
Where's that? Where was I?
The Trinity Bridge?
Oh, yeah. I was showing pictures. Trinity Bridge. So this is a bridge over nowhere. I have to open it back up on the thing. Sorry. Un momento. So this is the bridge over nowhere. The bridge over nowhere, because they changed the whole river system. But they say this.
I mean, it's real, or this is just a.
No, it's real.
But this isn't a photograph. This is
this is actually a picture from a menu of the Royal Steamship. Some menu. Yeah, and also I was going to go over tonight. The third and present Mercer Hall opened in 1958. These guys will have something to do with something, and it'll be historic. The Mercer's Company is the only city livery company to have its own private chapel. Previewing tonight. RJ.
Right?
I got to just show the disclaimer. Why didn't I? Nobody reminds me of anything. I'm just kidding. I forgot to show it. I didn't think I was going to show this video, but since we do have a few minutes, wait until you see this. I'm not going to make any money off of this. I just want people to be smarter than me. Why? Where does it go? Oh, it's a video. Was it a video? Was it in the email? I mean, I just clicked on it. There was like I was going to show a video, and now it's not there. I
mean,
apologize.
something you stumbled onto, or someone sent
Yeah,
you?
no, something I just watched this morning that I wanted to share.
Well, it should be in your history then. I mean,
That's
maybe.
correct.
Smell.
Just a minute. I'll find it. And here, oh, okay, it's right there.
This is a brain teaser that truly tests your spatial thinking. The challenge is to get a coin through this hole without tearing the paper. Most people think it's impossible because the hole is smaller than the coin. No matter how you try, the coin won't fit through. Just when you're about to give up, don't. The solution is quite simple. By using your spatial imagination and thinking outside the box, you can easily solve this puzzle. First, fold the paper in half from left to right, then fold it from top to bottom, and then fold it diagonally. Finally, open the paper from the middle. This will create a new space. Now, place the coin in the middle of the paper, and the coin will pass through perfectly without damaging the paper. Do you understand?
Huh? The angle of the situation from the perspective seems to be adequate.
That's something else I gonna have to make time to look into. Because it's not like my mind isn't already blown, man.
Well, you're taking a plane and manipulating it, but with angles. It's all, full straight lines, and then
Sure did look like he started with a hole that was too small for that.
It's a fine-looking funnel. Let's use it.
Right. And so I've been looking at some of the puzzles. Some of them, I think once you start doing them, you realize, okay, it can be done, and that helps a lot.
Yeah. Looking at something from outside the box.
But some of the ones, even after I just see the solution, I still go, that shouldn't work.
Why not? It works fine.
I know, but that's like the way the Lord humbled me this
How's
morning.
that work? Works.
And that's the way the Lord humbled me this morning. That if I would ever be one of these guys that takes credit for everything that the Lord has done for my life, I would get hammered so bad, because in reality, everybody knows I'm an ex-warehouse manager and an ex-volleyball basketball coach, and all this profit thing is just like pretty new. It's only like 12 years old. It's like before that, I was just
a loyal slave.
Yeah, greedy. My family's better than your family. You couldn't keep up with the Hughes family if you tried, winning everything, winning the softball church leagues. We were having so much fun. And then it was like,
top of your game.
Right. Then I realized, oh my gosh, we're the bad guys. Our whole Christian homeschool got set up by the Jesuits and the John Birch Society. Oh, I was crushed. And then my wife wouldn't leave with me.
And your eyes got opened. Ears, unstopped.
I really thought that retiring at like 55 and moving to like a golf course would have been the coolest thing in the world. And it's still sometimes I think, man,
find a nice, comfortable rocking chair.
Why can't if I could have a studio,
holding your favorite beverage,
a studio, a microphone, and a golf course by my house? Why couldn't I still do my job in golf?
Speaking of godly anger and judgment,
what is that all about? What is that cup?
So the youth that was.
Oh, it's 2 Kings.
Yeah. chapter 2, 23, 25. It's a, and I gave that to that.
I don't remember it.
That parochial teacher that, not only taught Joan, our children, but also our granddaughters, and now she just retired this past spring, after the school year. And
was that when are you talking about wait, First Kings chapter 2 is talking about
Elisha,
Solomon.
when the youth they go up there, Baldy, and then he called the curse, and the 2 bears came out and mauled 42 children. I mean, it's somewhat specific, the
Elisha. That's Elisha.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Not Elijah, Elisha.
Right. Elijah gets caught up to heaven that same chapter.
Well, early, yeah, it might be this, but yeah, that was, and Elijah kept encouraging Elisha, stay with, these other, and he insisted that in order to get the blessing, he had to witness, when the Lord took him in the whirlwind chariot thing.
Right. If he saw the cloak fall.
But, it's about, shortly thereafter, when he was being mocked by the children or youths, whatever that, implies age-wise.
Yeah, young men.
But,
so we got
and yeah, you have to go to 23, 25, I think is where.
This is a long one. He went up to Bethel, and while he was going there, he said, "Go up, bald head. Go up, bald head." We covered this a couple of months ago.
2 bears.
Yeah.
And 42. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
the speculation is that those 42 youths in Bethel were at like what would have been a college for future bad prophets. And they were part of the groups that were learning from the prophets that were saying peace, peace, when there was no peace. Better than gold. I'm going to be a little bit humble here and just say, well, I did have some experience at the junior varsity level, and I coached the 7th and 8th grade team. But when I got to varsity,
coffee cup.
When I got to the teaching the varsity, I was ready, and we won 116 games our first 5 years. That's averaging over 20 victories a year from a team that had not won a single match the year before, starting with that team. So volleyball is something that I consider very good. I have not coached men's volleyball, but I'd love to do it because it's a different game. Everyone,
it's a Babylon Bee promotion. If you ever heard of the Babylon Bee.
Yeah. So is it a mockery? I mean, are they saying that I know that people like to make fun of it. Like,
oh no, I mean, it's a biblical story. Take away from No, they don't. I don't believe it's a mockery thing, but it's one of them. If you're a teacher, and I'm not saying it's a teacher's. It's for anyone you can drink whatever you want out of it. But as far as a biblical story, and it comes to some sort of godly anger judgment, that was a pretty quick lesson to be learned. Maybe not. I'm not.
Seemed to be a pretty important time of history. That's for sure. People still talk. I mean,
it left a mark.
It certainly wasn't another day. Things were happening that day, and the spirit did not want to be monkeyed with in that time. Yeah.
It's an act of God thing, where the animal, whatever.
Well, everyone, I want to remind you that it is a flat earth nation. The golden age is past for one reason. The Mudflood was Armageddon. Me and my friends are never going to tell you anything else. Why would we? We are one, called two, chosen three, trying to prove ourselves faithful, showing we have your best interest at heart. Amen. Hallelujah. Aho. Aloha. Arrivederci. Ciao. Sayonara. Auf Wiedersehen.